You guys know I love to read, and I sometimes share in some episodes what I'm currently reading. Every now and then, I challenge myself to read something outside of my usual genre, and that book for me now is House of Rain by Harley LaRue. It's a gothic romance novel that follows Salem, who ends up stranded on a remote island instead of going on her honeymoon. There she meets the mysterious Rain, whose family manor is filled with unsettling secrets. Then people start dying, something begins stalking the forest at night, and what starts as a forbidding attraction turns into a fight for survival. With the isolated island, gothic mansions, and the creeping sense that something terrible is always just out of sight, I was intrigued and creeped out. If you're a fan of supernatural suspense and dark romance with an unforgettable atmosphere, check out House of Rain by Harley LaRue, now available wherever books are sold in print and in ebook.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tane Talks. I am your host, Tane, here to talk to you about Married at First Sight Season 20, Episode 4. Sorry, this is a little bit late. I think I told my patrons earlier I am on a work trip and I am so busy, but I'm finding a way to get this episode. So I am solo. This episode will be solo, next episode also, but then the guests will be back because I'll be back to my regularly scheduled routine. But I had to get this out because the season is rolling and they are on their honeymoon. So can't wait to talk about this episode. Before I get into the episode, just reminding you guys, patreon.com/Tane Talks. You can go on there to get bonus episodes. I covered The Polygamist with Raven from Bitches Better. I'm also covering 90 Day Last Resort Season 3. And you can get ad-free episodes. You can get video episodes over there as well. I do want to say, guys, I have been talking nonstop. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk about it. That, I wanted MAFS when he moved to Peacock to have like this water cooler moment. And I don't feel like that happened with season 19. But guys, I think we have it in season 20. I don't necessarily think, I don't know, it's not like the greatest reasons, but I think we do have our water cooler moment and we're gaining traction. And now everyone is talking about watching maps. People who've never watched it are like, I'm going to watch Married at First Sight. People who stopped watching it are like, oh, do I need to go back? But everyone is talking about it online. And I think it's because of Nikki and Sean. And the moment where she didn't know, well, I think she knew that that was her groom, but was just like, oh, for real, this is going to be my groom. But basically, Nikki and Sean and the clips, whether it's that clip or her talking about her salary requirements, Courtney with her January 6th bullshit is also there. And unfortunately, Mecca's dad. You guys, Mecca's dad talked about it the last episode with A, just how inappropriate all his comments were during the episode. Who knew that it could get worse? And sometime, during the week between the last drop and this drop, there's been a whole lot that's going on. I'll catch you up to speed a little bit. Shout out to those of you who sent me stuff about this. But I mean, I don't even think I knew that Logic's full name is Logic 7 Allah Amen. That's his full name. But his TikTok videos that he's been doing, he really is a principal. He has been a principal of well, it's not really confirmed and it's a little confusing. Some were saying that he was an assistant principal of a school, but he's been a principal as well. But he keeps getting like reported by like kids or the kids' parents in the schools that he's in, but he never really gets into trouble. He just keeps being transferred to another school. Reminding me, it's kind of like, the Catholic Church where a priest does something and then they transfer them to just another parish and they're just fine. But Logix is also a hip hop artist, apparently, and he's done like a song. He had like an explicit song called Cancel Christmas, and it was about school shooting, I believe. And I'm just, what are we doing? You're working in a school environment. Like, live your life how you want to, but you have to be sensitive to these things. And then, even worse, he has TikTok videos where he makes these jokes that are kind of like sexual, basically like what we saw on camera. And I'll just give an example of one of them. He has music, some kind of, this cartoon music that's like want want just playing in the background. He's holding a bag of like cashew nuts and he's saying, "Stop grabbing my nuts," while putting them in your mouth. And I'm just, you're a grown man. What are we doing here? But anyways, that's all the things that are going on. But I think all this all together, somehow our little show is gaining traction and it's having its water cooler moment. Be careful what you ask for, right? Because now on the flip side, we have people who've never watched the show. Like, we've been in the trenches, we know the lore, we know the history, but welcome to everyone who's watching the show. And it's just sad that it's a season where it feels like it's not looking good, guys. Like, just based on episode 4, everyone seems to be like struggling and it's just looking like the worst matches ever. But MAFS is also known for its fake out. So let's just dive into I'm going couple by couple and then we'll talk about when they all meet in Mexico. Let's start with Devin and Caitlin. I guess everyone is doing like how everyone's telling us how their night was, and there's a round robin about it. I think it's a way for us to also know if they had sex or not. Caitlin says it was nice to snuggle, but then also sleep separately. I'm like wondering what she meant. Little did I know what was to come. Devin says that his love language is physical touch, and they're touchy. She says like it doesn't bug her or turn her off where it used to turn her off in the past. He said he wasn't expecting for them to hook up last night because he had no expectations. And she's like, yeah, I would never. And his face was kind of like, all right, now, like, I know not yet, but eventually, right? We're going to have to, not we're going to have to, but like he's hoping that they go to the next level of their relationship. But she's like, it's just not her vibe. He says hookup culture and one night stands. He's not going to say that he hasn't done that, but he is an intimate person. And when he says intimate person, he means like dinners, talking, staying home, and chilling. But he's just like, a very physical person. So, in case Caitlin missed it, I think what Devin is trying to say is I don't mind waiting, but I would prefer that we don't, wait that long to the point where we're like in the friend zone. So, she's like, oh yeah, I did get that vibe from you from the wedding because you were very touchy. She says that she likes to take things slow and is like a slow burner. But yeah, all that stuff will come naturally. You guys know, I can never understand this. Like, slow burn and maths in the same sentence does not make any sense. Like, please, you already done the hard thing and married a stranger, went through all of the process to marry a stranger, and then you come on here and then now you want to slow down the process. What are we doing? Oh, it just really annoys me. So, we don't get any basket or location announcements. You guys know how we get the knock on the door. And we're like, oh, we get a flag. We're going to insert wherever it is that they're going to. We just see Caitlin say, oh, we need to go pack. And I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to pack. Then we see everyone packing. We see suitcases. We don't have any like fun. Oh, you bought this. Oh, we're matching. Oh, we do this. That's just it. And then we see Devin dancing again, just saying tacos and tequila. If you remember in their quote unquote bachelor party, he was just dancing to no music. Then we just see water. We see the ocean, and then we see the title card saying that they are in the Riviera Maya, Mexico. Then we see them having dinner. They're talking about their parents, how, both of them have good examples, and her parents were really good at resolving conflict. They were both raised in strict households, and he tells her that he likes her and she's cool, and he feels like this could be a forever thing. these two are just in their bubble. We see them jumping into cenotes, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Remember, they got my bouquet last episode because their wedding just seemed to click and everything just seems to be fun. Despite her dad trying to make many announcements, they just seem to be cool. So it looks like they're also being forced to have like deep conversations. I don't know if this is their choice, if they're just trying to get to know each other better, or if they're being steered in that direction with production. But considering they just met, it just feels like really quickly. I think we are in day two, three, because this is the honeymoon. So she says like she's had two long-term relationships that were almost 4 years, which knowing what we're about to find out, I'm just like, how was she able to cope with that? He said he hasn't had relationships that were longer than a year and a half, but it stopped because, long distance relationship, he struggles with not having his person with him. She says that has he ever heard of the whole black cat golden retriever phenomenon, because she is a black cat. He says that he's a golden retriever. He likes to cater, 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 and sometimes it is not being reciprocated. She's like, oh, yeah, but I don't want you to do that. Like, I don't want you to just focus on that and focus on catering to me. That she would like him to also think about himself. Then we get a confessional where she's like, yeah, I'm not the most in touch with my emotions. So logically, it means the experts think that she's ready for MAFS, and also she was matched. But she's like, but I love that he is, though. Who knew this was going to be a problem? I'm like, where is this coming from? Who is this Caitlin? This is not the person that I met last week. And she's like, oh, it's what everyone in life says that she needs. And, but the thing is, you put it in front of her, and she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you nice to me? No one's ever nice to me. This is so weird. Guys, I think like we have to remember this sentence, because at the same time, it is a little sad that she's saying this, because she does mention that she has dated, assholes in the past. And now having someone nice to you and wanting to cater to you, saying, why are you nice to me? I just think is something we need to pay attention to, because this is going to play out in her relationships. And just no one's is ever nice to me. It's just, I don't know, sad. Like, it's just your reaction when someone you're dating is nice to you should not be, whoa, 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 why? It should be, oh my God, I welcome this and I would love to reciprocate that with you, because this is a healthy relationship. Which goes back to when she said, like, oh, her parents are like a good example in conflict resolution. But also, what else more do we not know about the relationship? But she said that she loved when she dated someone who did not care what she did. And I'm like, "Ugh, this is not good." What this is why, as much as I didn't like really care for watching the matchmaking process, this is where it's helpful to realize, like, did she knows this about herself, because she is saying, I'm not the most in touch with my emotions. I'm not touchy feely. I don't want to be in the same space with someone for so long. Did she not say these things during matchmaking? Is this why this was taken out? Because why was she matched? Why are we matching? I don't know why I'm asking this question. We saw things from other people and they got matched, but why match her with someone who's so touchy feely and wants that affection, and who has broken up with people because his person wasn't there with him in a long distance relationship? I know the answer is entertainment, but still, I'm asking why. Because part of when Paz and Paul were talking, they were saying that, compatibility is one of the things that they look for when they match people. So explain this to us, please. So yes, she says that she dated someone who didn't care and she loved that. And then we see Devin saying that the vibes from her are kind of standoffish, and the way he feels loved is to be with his person, and he doesn't feel like, he's getting that feeling from her. So they're sitting on the side of the next cenotes, and they have like a picnic basket that has like a whole bunch of fruit and has like just some light food and I think champagne. And my guy's just eating his mango, just like chilling. And she's like, wow, you chew a lot. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, you really pulverize your food before you swallow it. Like, I just chew and then just swallow it. It's like, swallow it. I'm like, damn. Guys, again, The switch up between these two is mad. Like, where did this come from? So then we see them going to bed. She's already like eyes closed, sleeping position. He's there, not like giving him any affection. She's like, I set my alarm for 8 o'clock to go to the gym. Like, I'm just going to wake you up. I'm going to kick you a couple of times. If you don't wake up, then so be it. Like, just being really, is the word cold? I think that's what I'm going for. You won't think that this is a person that not long ago just told us that he's touchy feely, but he doesn't put her off and she doesn't have the ick like she usually does. But it looks to me like she does already. They're going to bed, and like I said, it just feels like she's stonewalling him and like closing her eyes and like I don't even think she's going to bed. She just doesn't want him to talk to her. That's my deduction. Like, even through the screen, I can see this hypothetical. She didn't build a pillow fort or anything or a pillow wall, but I can see the hypothetical wall just between them. Like, just not giving him anything. He has to actually reach out and be like, okay, good night. And he has to kiss her on her cheek because she doesn't even like turn around or try to reciprocate it, with him. The next morning we see like a selfie cam and she's like, okay, I woke up at 8 and I'm walking to the gym. It's the first time I'm going to the gym and I needed this. I need to go. Then we see Devin saying like he woke up at 8:30 and she had gone. And if she really wanted to go to the gym by herself, she should have just said so that they need to communicate. If she needs her time alone, they talked about it and they could have just said it. Again, I ask, how did he sleep through her waking up, doing all the things and going to the gym? I'm a light sleeper, so I think I'm in awe when people don't even move. When their partner or whoever they're sharing their bed with does all the things, because I'm assuming she got up, the alarm went off, she brushed her teeth, changed her clothes, moved around in the hotel room, and he did not hear a thing. He says that he just wants to feel like he's wanted. And I'm like, poor guy. I don't know how to move over this because, again, based on the rest of this episode, it is not looking good, guys. But that's it for Devin and Caitlin before they go to Mexico. I'm going to take a quick break here and I will be right back. Okay, we are back with Sean and Nikki. As we know, this is not going off to a good start. Does not look like she is attracted to him, but she is moving forward with this. I don't always like to say that she's trying, but I think if I'm going to give credit for people trying, this would be the definition of being trying because she is moving along. She's not like deading everything and saying like, this is it. I don't want anything more to do with this man. And I asked you guys, what do you think? Is she being rude to him or not? I think that she's just trying to set her boundaries and still try to feel him out to know how she's going to handle this. So he brings her coffee in bed and then they high five. And I'm like, no, no, no. If you've been listening to me long enough, I don't like when couples on MAFS high five. I just feel like you're putting yourself in the friend zone. And let's not high five. Give yourself a hug or something. Let's not just do the high five. We're not buddies. We're married. As someone who isn't a morning person, Sean starting really early with the jokes is a lot. And he's just like he said that he realized last night he has to back up and let her be the star. She reiterates that he was coming on too strong the day before, and she's still not attracted to him, but she does think that it can grow. She says that he reached for her hand in the middle of the night. She did find that intimate and sweet, but she thinks that they are in for a great love story. And this is what I mean. Like, I just like the fact that it's not a dead end. We have seen many couples where they just didn't like what they saw and they're just like, this is not going to work. It's not going to happen. Think Gina, season 17, where it was just like, I don't like Clinton. It's not going to happen. We're just going to be friends. And then that's it. There's not even a chance for it to grow. So I think I like the fact that Nikki is not giving it a complete end and is even saying like they could be in for a great love story. Nikki and Sean arrive and they arrive in Mexico and they are staying at the Vidanta Riviera Maya. Their section is the first time we realize where they are staying. And it's so funny. I have actually stayed at a Vidanta, not at the Riviera Maya location. I stayed at the Los Cabos location and, it's a cute little spot. So they have drinks that look like mimosas. I don't know what it is that they gave them. And Sean asked for them to like link hands and then kiss. And Nikki agrees. Again, Not a case of don't touch me, don't kiss me, I don't want any of this. She does agree and they do kiss. It's like the more you just do something, the more maybe it feels natural, the more there's not a lot of anticipation built around, oh, do we kiss? Oh, do we not? Where do we stand? And you just go ahead and you do it, and maybe it helps you be comfortable. And if you keep doing it and you feel like I'm not feeling it, at least you know you tried. So I do like her approach with things when she's in the space that she's not attracted to him, but she's still doing all of the things just to see if their relationship can move forward. They do a selfie cam and they're very excited for this honeymoon. They're jumping on the bed like little kids. I'm like, okay, this is good. Nikki is saying they're by the pool. Nikki is saying like, I can't wait for naps, a beach massage, and Sean jumps in. Is like with no clothes, and she's like, what do you mean? He's like, no. I mean like tank top. And she goes, yeah, what's that about? And he's like, no, I just want to be as naked as possible, but appropriate. And she goes, okay, sure, let's do that. I think he's just trying to see how far he can go. Like the more she gets comfortable, I'm gonna keep trying the jokes, then I'll see how she reacts and see how far I can go and kind of gauge what her comfortability with me is. Um, Again, he keeps going on. He's like, okay, hottie with a body, how are you maintaining this? How do you look so hot? And she's like, a little Pilates, a little yoga. He says he's not in his college football era, but he has a dad bod now, but he's not afraid to take his shirt off, whenever he wants to. And he's like, oh, do you want me to take it off? And she's like, okay, if you want to. But I mean, good for him. Like he has his dad bod and he likes his dad bod, and screw anybody who doesn't like it. Like, it's my bod, and I'm going to do whatever I want with it. So he does take off his shirt, and she does say, I love that he's confident in his body, but I also didn't imagine myself being with someone who has a dad bod without the dad part. So I think she's just having fun with it, but some may take it as otherwise. But yes. So then he goes into the pool, and she's like, oh, you have tahini on your mouth. And of course, it is a layup. Sean is like, you want to take it out for me? No, she's not there. Like, relax. The thing is, I'm just confused by Sean. Sean said he was going to just take it slow and take it easy. So I don't know why he's still trying to test the waters and see how far he can go with his jokes. Like, just relax and let her be comfortable and she'll get there. So she does um ask about the altar, like what were you expecting? Like what did you think when you saw me at the altar? He said, I thought that you were beautiful. And she's like, for me, I came in and I just saw a gorgeous, kind of laid up, like she was about to say, I saw a gorgeous man. And she just said, a gorgeous pause audience. And I'm like, Nikki, okay, you're taking the piss right now. And you're just like, trolling him. And she's like, we saw family on the left, family on the right. And he said it. He's like, I thought you were going to say you saw a gorgeous man. And she's like, but I'm not there yet. I'm not done talking. She gets there and she never fully gets there because she says, and I saw you. And I'm like, wow, he's confident. And I think what she means is like, yeah, you just stood there. Not what I expected, but you seem to like yourself. So that's great. He talks about old Sean, where he feels like old Sean is someone who puts himself first and everyone else second, but it didn't serve him and he doesn't want to bring that into the marriage. She also says that she's been super independent too, and every relationship that she's been in, she ended it, and she feels like she's grown. He says, okay, can you give me an example of how you've grown? And she's like, for example, I like my house tidy. And if I was dating someone and they didn't participate in that tidiness and they're they themselves weren't tidy, I would secretly judge them and say, like, I can't do this. I got to get out of this. But now she takes a deep breath, not take a deep breath. She takes a pause and she's like, why not have a conversation with it about them and then see what happens? And then he asks, so what was the growth? Like, my question was, how have you grown in this? Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I thought the growth was communicating that to them versus keeping it in and not saying anything and just being like, I'm done with this relationship. Is that not growth? Am I tripping, guys? Like, but it doesn't seem good enough for him. So she kind of gets defensive because the way he does talk to her is like he's a parent and he's like, yeah, but the question is, what was the growth? So she gets defensive and is like, am I being interviewed right now? But he's like, no, like I'm asking you about the growth. You're not giving me specifics and you're being vague. She's like, yes, I'm being vague because I don't want to go into detail with you. And I'm like, oh, I'm here thinking that she actually gave a good example, but they're saying she's saying she doesn't want to go into detail. I'm like, how much more detail? Maybe there's more, and she just doesn't want to put it on camera. Maybe that's what she's trying to say. He says like, well, I'm not getting what the actual growth was, and I hear him, but it was just a little intense. Again, honeymoon, guys, relax, get to know each other. It doesn't have to be that deep. Like later on, you could be like, okay, what? Can you give me more example? We talked about this, but just go with your answer and chill. She does say that this seems to be very important to you, and I haven't asked you this because it's unimportant. And I'm like, ooh, yikes. She says, like, yeah, it sounds important to you, but I just feel interviewed. And you are killing the mood, and it feels very academic and doesn't feel personal. Like you're really asking because you want to get to know me. He apologizes and says that that was not his intent. His intent is just to get to know her better. So we see them go again by the pool. I think Nikki came with the fit, so she's just gonna show off all her cover ups, her bathing suit, and all that, and she looks good. So again, they're by the pool. They walk up, and Sean brings up apparently that they had an issue the night before when they were trying to do their video diary. Then we get a flashback, and she's saying to the video cam, like, okay, like I think we're gonna wait a few months, or I think waiting a few months or 5 weeks to see what friendship can look like before introducing sex sounds reasonable to her. And he's like, oh, you already decided? And she's like, what do you mean? Like, I talked to you about this yesterday. And he's like, yes, yesterday you asked me a question. You didn't say you decided that that's what it's going to be. She's like, yeah, it feels right to me. And he goes, thank you for letting me know. I completely agree with you. I just didn't know that you had made a decision before this conversation. And then she's just like, he's like, I think you have to validate the fact that, and she's like, oh, she finishes the sentence that I didn't tell you that I made a decision. And he's like, let me finish, please. And I'm like, oh my God. Then he says, tell me back to me what you're hearing me say. And she's like, here we go again. She says she's not, well, for me, she's not in a therapy session. Like, you don't dictate how she's going to talk, especially when she's even agreeing with you. She's saying that I need to validate the fact that I didn't tell you, but he's all, okay, but if you said this, yes or no. And she's like, can I speak? This is, I don't know. Okay. They're both right and they're both wrong. But I think that Sean's problem is that he speaks to her like maybe she's one of his students, and it's like one of his sessions, like one of his one-on-one sessions. And instead of, and she gets to this later, and that's what I agree with. And he always wants to be right. She says, okay, I want to put sex at the end of the experiment, and I do see tender sides to you that helped me let my guard down, but you ran so hot last night. And she says like he felt like she says he felt that he had the right to know that she had made a decision. And he goes, no, that's not true. You're trying to guess what I'm feeling, but that's not true. You're guessing what I thought, and I just want to let you know that that's not true. And once again, she says, please let me speak. And that's how he came across, that you wanted me to let you know about the decision. And he's like, yeah, again, I just want to let you know that that's not how I felt, that you're guessing and you're wrong. She says, you have nothing to prove. And sometimes when you speak to me, it feels like you're on a stage debating, and it doesn't feel like you're talking to a person, let alone your wife. And you're handling me in a rough and robotic way. She says the challenge in their conflict is when he gets into conflict, he doesn't create space for her to be heard. And it's all here, pointing to her head, and not here, pointing to her heart. And he says it's not about the sex. It's about the process of how they communicate moving forward. He says that this is the conversation. This conversation is the first time that they are realizing that they have different communication styles, and it's going to take a while for them to get in alignment. And he says he's not wanting to be in conflict with her. He's not anti her. He just wants her to, he just wants to know how to best care for her and eventually how to best love her. She says, I think that's so beautiful. It's too soon to tell, but I do think that I'm gonna put Sean in the category, and I've talked about this before. Um, this new reality show men that just are so combative. They just want to always prove their point. And instead of listening, and I really 100% agree with her that sometimes even if he has a point, it feels like he just wants to be right. And and wanting to be right, it's like he's making points. He's making bullet points and he's just trying to point out yes or no. Did you say this? Oh, you said that. Oh, I just want to make sure that you do this. I get that he wants to be heard, but she's right. You have to be delicate with her. You have to have a conversation, and everything doesn't have to be an argument. Because if you were in alignment, if you had the conversation and you're like, oh, we're going to wait till the end, she asks you a question indicating that that's where she's headed. She's thinking you're on the same page. It was just a miscommunication that she didn't know that he didn't know that it was definitive. And this is exactly what she wanted to go with. Maybe, yes, she asked you, like, hey, how would you feel about us waiting till the end to do this? That's because she's thinking about it. So you have to know that that's a possibility. And then I understand his point where it feels like it's not about necessarily the sex, even though low key, I do think it is. And he's saying like, oh, in the future, if we're going to talk about things, we can't just, make a decision and then you tell me about it. I think he's kind of putting that in, but I do think that Loki, he is kind of like, okay, I didn't have a say in this, but you could go ahead and say like, hey, I agree with you on this, but in the future, I think it'll be great if we kind of, talk about things and then we come to the decision together. I'm not mad, but this is what I feel. But for you during the diary session to just be like, oh, we decided. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's a little passive aggressive. I'm sorry. And then make this a whole big thing. And then you start, talking about it and telling her you're wrong. That's not how I felt. But that is how you're communicating. So that's it for Nikki and John until the cocktail hour and how they all anticipate. But I think there's hope for them. When there's not initial attraction, very rarely does it grow. I think Jamie and Doug still remain the only people where it's grown. Am I missing anyone? Because everybody else who tries and says, oh, let's see if it grows, let's see if it grows, it eventually doesn't pan out. I'm trying to think if Shawnice and Jeff T fall into this. Like, I don't think it was a situation where he wasn't attracted to her. I just think he was uncomfortable with the cameras. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see if they become the second people after Jamie and Doug, where they didn't like what they saw at the altar, but they grew to like it. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, Michelle and Cameron. Guys, this couple is still giving me nothing. I just think they're boring. They had a comfortable night. She thinks that he's handsome. She tells him that she's traditional when it comes to sex and she wants to take things slow. But, they like each other enough so they're in the same bed. She says that she can't wait to see the other couples. And Cameron asks if she plans everything whenever she travels. And she says, yeah, I like it when the guy plans everything. So Cameron is telling her that sometimes he doesn't communicate something when he's feeling a certain way because confrontation is challenging for him. But he does hope that they can talk about their struggles. So if there's anything that, bothers her, that he hopes that she can bring it up and he will do the same as well. She goes, yeah, we do. And then she gets emotional and she's like, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. They're drinking something and I feel like they're gripping the bottle. Maybe they have to cover the brand name. She does share her fibroid diagnosis with him and says that she has to have surgery again. But she does want a partner that wants to have kids. But when it comes to her fertility, it could be harder than usual. And then when you have fibroids, like, miscarriages are also common. He does say that he wants a family, but he does realize that it's not always cut and dry, that, sometimes you can't just say, oh, I want to have a child, and then that happens. That they usually like some, it's usually a journey to get to that way. So he seems fine with it. And she said that she had accepted it and was cool with adopting if she wasn't able to have her biological children. And he goes, my sister is adopted and she's pretty dope, so I am fine with adoption. So I do think that this was pretty cool. Like, he reacted very well and she got to share that with him because I'm sure that's something that weighed on her, not being sure how her husband is going to accept this. I don't know if this was cut out the edit or she just chose not to tell him yet that she froze her eggs, but I don't think we saw a conversation of her telling him that, she froze her eggs. But that was a highlight for Michelle and Cameron. I think that she likes him. I'm not sure if he does. Like, he doesn't really say, oh, she's gorgeous. Oh, I'm attracted to my wife. Oh, I can't wait for us to have things. It's just like he's going through the motions and just saying things. So I don't know. My eye is on them, but I feel like I anticipate an episode where he says, like, she's a beautiful girl, but I just feel like we don't have the spark. And just seeing, where we go with that. So for Adam and Marissa, they wake up the next morning. Marissa is like, he's a good cuddler. And he says, thank you. I've been training for this actually. Last week he said this in the confessionals, but who knew that he also said it to her face? Unironically, too. He's being very deathly serious. He asks her what her ideal day is, and she goes, having a 3-hour nap. He better like just accept that this is the real deal in terms of like when it comes to naps. This is like the third time she's mentioning that she does not joke with her naps. He goes, a 3-hour nap is pretty long, but he doesn't actually say like, listen, I think naps are terrible and naps are lazy. He hasn't actually said that, so I don't think she has an idea that he's not a fan of the naps. She says that she's pretty attracted to him. Sharing a bed was natural. They shared kisses here and there. And I'm like, okay. Last week I guessed that they would have been the ones to have sex, and they closed the curtains and everything. So why are we not doing the usual thing of, did you consummate your marriage? Did you not? I mean, we used to complain when they did it, and now they don't do it. I'm complaining. So it goes to show he can never make us happy. So she confirms that he's a good kisser. Um, I call them the Sims. They're now in Mexico in their honeymoon, and the Sims are in Mexico, and he tells her that she looks so beautiful today and what is the secret to her beauty? Like, what normal human has a conversation like that? And she goes, oh, just being married. It's the newlywed glow. He asks her if she used to model. She goes, no. He's like, not even mall modeling? I'm like, what? Adam, do better with your conversation. I feel like Adam is one of those people who feels like, oh, I'm cute. I have many hobbies. I am a renaissance man. I don't need to work on my conversation. Everything else will carry me. And they should just be grateful that I'm talking to them. I'm like, let it go. She said she didn't used to model. Mall model, hand modeling, print modeling, catalog. Forget it. She's not a model. Let it go. She says he gives Abercrombie model as he demolishes those wings, even though Adam does look like the kind of guy that leaves meat on the bones of wings. But yeah, they're by the beach and they're just eating and drinking. So their drinks come and she tries his out for him to make sure that there's no alcohol. I gotta say that I did think that that was cute. She was like, let me just make sure it wasn't. She's like, nope, just iced coffee. And that's just what it is. She does a confessional and says that she thought that it would be difficult because he doesn't drink. But it's nice to know that their chemistry isn't drunk based. That made me laugh so hard. I don't even know. It's not that funny, but it made me laugh that she said it wasn't drunk.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Base because it's like you're not like you met while you were drunk. It's not like you're gonna be drunk 24/7. I think what she just meant is like the fact that they have chemistry and is they don't need alcohol to have chemistry, but her just saying drunk based made me laugh. You're not gonna be drunk 24/7, so no, it's not drunk based. So she asked if he could carry her over. I think that they have rocks by the beach, and he's like, easy, yeah, I could toss you around. Did you forget about last night? And I'm like, okay, now they're teasing us. Well, did you have sex or not? Ah. He says, come here, and then they kiss, and Adam is just so broy, but she likes it. They seem to like each other. They seem to be going well, and I'm, cautiously optimistic that for all the things we know about Adam, maybe they didn't match him with the right person. I am a little worried that he would just say, I don't know, like the physical attraction is there, but I need more, and I'm not getting more from her. I'm just scared that he's going to do that. We usually always have the couples who physically they start off really quick and they burn really fast, but then just as fast as they started burning, they burn out really quickly and fizzle out. And I'm wondering if that's going to be them, you know? Courtney and Nick. Oh, it's not good, guys. These couple, they're also wilding on the internet. Like, Courtney did like a thing where it was like, you guys remember the 18 how many part story of Tessa Reese where she says, who the fuck did I marry? She's just having reels and just it's not telling us anything, but she is saying, who the fuck did I marry? Part one and part two is coming soon. And Nick is just in every damn comment section, just responding and in there and just, I guess, promo for the show. So apparently, Nick undresses at night throughout the night. Courtney says that he's gorgeous and kind and everything, but she slept back to back with him and she's not a touchy feely person. I'm like, oh boy. When you're not a touchy feely person, it's just because you don't like the person. They go make coffee because there's a coffee machine over there, and he mentions that he's never used like a pod machine before. And this inspires Courtney to be like, oh, did you let me ask, are you a handy guy? He goes, no, I'm not. I'm not a handy guy. And she goes, oh, Nick, who did I marry? And I'm like, maybe this is the joke, but we hadn't watched it, and you're posting it, so we don't get it. We can't make the connection. She says, like, that's the one area that the experts didn't get right. Like, I would have liked a man that's handy. And she's like, well, looks like I'm going to be the handyman. At this point, I'm like, we just got intro morning pickup scenes with everybody else. They were just like, oh, how's your night? It was great. We cuddled with this. And then they moved on. But with these two, we are still going. They've got out of bed. They're now making coffee. And basically, it was just longer than everybody else. So they make it to Mexico. They have all the stuff they need to make a drink. It's just sitting on like a side table, and Nick is struggling to open the tequila, and Courtney just grabs it and is like, "Oh, let me try." She opens it in 2 seconds, and I do think this is a story we're gonna go with, like the parts where she feels like, quote unquote, she wants him to be the manly man and handle things like this. He's not able to do that. She's like, well, since you couldn't open it, or maybe he says it, I have to make sure that the drinks have to be really good. So he's mixing the drinks and he starts to shake the drinks in the mixer, and we just see the lid fly off, and you just see Courtney's ick begin to visibly show. Because I'm sure she started getting it earlier, but when he can't even mix a drink right and it flies off, yeah, this is not good. They're on the beach, and the way I describe Courtney and Nick, they're like two dogs walking around, sniffing and feeling each other around and getting to know each other because they are absolutely not comfortable around each other. They're on the beach, and Nick is asking, oh, is there anything else we can do here? You're on a beach in Mexico on your honeymoon, and you're asking, what else can we do? And it's just awkward. And they're trying to think of games that they could play. And I don't know how they can fix that. They just initially do not have chemistry. But I don't know if Nick can have chemistry with people. When he wasn't the perfect match, it was awkward too, you know? Which is why I kept asking, if we are going to pick a reality vet or somebody, why did we pick Nick? This is a question I'm going to ask till the end of time. Hopefully, if I'm lucky, maybe way down the line, if I ever get like to speak to one of the experts, that is what I want to ask. Why Nick? Was that a question for a producer? I don't know. They go to the pool. They're by the poolside, and again, awkwardness, trying to figure out what to do. And I think a woman is allegedly taking pictures of them. It was a weird angle. The woman was blurred out, and Courtney makes a comment like, "Oh, no flash photography, please. Like, no pictures." So I'm like, did she recognize them? I'm like, is that a plant to just kind of right into the story of Nick being so famous? Because, or is it just because they're filming? So there are a million cameras around, and maybe she took a picture, like sending it to a friend, like, "Hey, I don't watch shows. Do you know what's going on? I walked into this resort and this is happening right here." I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but what are the odds that someone's out there just taking pictures of Nick? But as always, they're awkward. You can always count on that. Courtney goes to the confessional. She can't hold it in anymore. She's like, "Oh my God, it's boring. I am bored." This makes sense now because few confessionals ago on their wedding night, when she went to bed in her pajamas, she's like, she's worried that it's going to get stagnant and it's going to get boring. And the producer is like, "You just met him a few hours ago." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about the future." This was a foreshadowing and a foretelling of what's to come because it's a self fulfilling prophecy. She's scared of being bored, so therefore she's bored. She's saying that. Meanwhile, Nick, on the other hand, is like, "We are having fun. This is great." I think Nick is lying. I think he's just saying it to keep face because, again, he's competitive and he doesn't want to be the one that is in a sucky relationship. Well, you are. They're in the, I think they're in the pool bar, somewhere in the pool, and she's telling him how, she was so rigid in her routine. She just did the same things over and over. Even like fast food, she did not have fast food until last year, and asked him if he has that, not fast food, but like if he has like a routine. And he says like he had it in college, and he kind of felt like he did computer science to make his parents happy, because he did ask like the whole sticking to a routine, doing certain things, was it to make your parents happy? She says no, but I feel like Courtney is the way she is because of something about her parents, but we just haven't delved into that yet. So he says yes, he did computer science to make his parents happy, but he remembers way before then, like he kind of did drama and he enjoyed that. And he just felt like when he was starting to think about what life was like on the other side, um, of computer science, that's what kind of made him apply for reality TV, to satisfy that itch for the entertainment side or the artsy side, and to try something that was different from academics. He asked her if she has an artsy side, and she's like, "No, I'm a doer." What has an artsy side got to do with being a doer? Because I think she's just trying to throw jabs like, "Oh, I'm so like concrete and I'm so serious." Because Nick is a doer. They did tell you that he has like an actual job and he works 9 to 5 and he's very straight laced in his job. But to me, an artsy side and saying I'm a doer has nothing to do with anything. Are you saying that artsy people are not doers? I think she's the kind of person who doesn't take it seriously. But anyways, she says that she just has a hard time sitting still. And, you could see like you were laying down trying to take a nap and I was just trying to clean, even though we have housekeeping, like it's just how I am. But my mom is like that. So maybe that's where I get it from. Yep, it's adding up, guys. Remember in her matchmaking, she's like, maybe I am the problem. I think maybe she is the problem. So she says in a confessional that something is missing with them, but she doesn't know what. Maybe he needs to recharge. The poor guy, he's so tired and is trying to keep up. Cue to him in a confessional, and he's sleeping or resting his eyes, whichever one. And the producer is like, "How's the marriage going?" And he's like, "Oh my God, it's going so well." I'm like, "Nick, cut the act." She's also saying, like, she's also having a confessional in her bikini, like in the poolside somewhere else. And she's like, "I just need to find ways to infuse more fun." And I'm stumped. Like, this is driving me nuts. And her nervous Nelly energy is on full display and she's all out. And I can't remember if I said it, and if not, for anyone else who said it or sent this to me, I do agree that I would have loved to see how Courtney and Adam would have gotten along. Like, I kind of feel like they're two sides of the same coin, but maybe that's why they won't work because they're too similar with each other. But I would have loved to see how that is. But so far, not good. She and Nick are not getting along, but Nick seems to think that they are, or is lying to himself and us that everything is going well. All right, let's move on to Felipe and Tori. We remember Felipe, kind of turned things around, at least for me, last episode. And they start with them with a shot of pants that looked like they were thrown onto the nightstand. I don't know why his pants were on the nightstand. They wake up, they talk about the sleep. Felipe apparently doesn't snore. They did not have sex. He chooses this time to share that. He has a slight fear of commitment. So having this level of commitment is going to help him focus on her. I'm like, I don't know, that would scare me saying that. Like you're using me as an experiment to figure out, the commitment. But they're so happy and, they like each other a lot. They're so hot. They're attracted to each other. And they are in Mexico. This is now after the honeymoon. They're on their balcony, showering each other with compliments. They kiss each other. They do this weird kiss where when they kiss, it's almost like they're stuck to each other and they just freeze. And they stay there for like a long time and then they separate. They did this twice. So it was like, maybe that's just what they do. So he starts the conversation and is like, hey, I don't want to hide anything from you, and I'm nervous, and I want to talk to you about something. She looks terrified, like, oh Lord, what is he about to say? And I think he wants to tell her about his cheating, but instead he says, we never talked about your faith, and where do you stand when it comes to faith? She says, I am Christian. I pray a lot. I have a relationship with God. Me and him are tight, and the more I learn about Tori, the more I like her. And it's a case of not judging a book by its cover because I'm sure, like, just with the way that Tori looks, people will come up with a bunch of conclusions about her. And I don't think anyone would guess that she was a Christian. I don't know if I'm outing myself and I'm just speaking for myself, but that's, what I would be thinking. But that's what she shares with him. And he says, like, hey, for me, I grew up Catholic and I'm the only one in my family that is atheist. I'm like, Paul and Paz. Guys, I'm good. That's what I'm going to be calling them now. If I don't say the experts, I'm just going to be like, it's like a group, a duo, Paul and Paz. Why would you do that? Why did you not show us this in the matchmaking special? You always show us like, oh, they do this, they do that on paper, but now we're seeing all the differences. Her faith is very important to her. You did this in season 19 with Will and Brittany. Not them exactly, but why would you put an atheist with someone who believes in God? Why? She immediately asks, like, how would you feel about children being baptized? And he says, from my perspective, like, baptism is like a baby in water. So that's fine with me, but for me it's like that's the Catholic way. I know sometimes someone will say I'm Christian and someone will say, oh, I'm Catholic. Catholics are Christians. I don't I get it that sometimes people think that they're not and that their own sect, but they are part of a denomination. They are a Christian denomination. And for him saying that a baptism is water on a baby, I think maybe not recognizing that for some other denominations, they don't do baptisms when you're a baby. But also, Tori did not tell us what denomination she is. But for the fact that she said how he feels about children being baptized, I'm wondering if she's Catholic. And that's why she said that. So I don't know, that was vague. She didn't go into detail. But she does say that the unknown is so scary and for her religion is a safe space for her to have. And he's just like, if it's a big deal to her, then it's a big deal for him and he's fine with them baptizing, the children. She says she's being cheated on and her religion helped her get through it. And it's just such a huge principle of hers to be very respectful all the time. Then she just pivots and is like, I'm sure you get hit on all the time. And matter of factly, he goes, yeah, I do. At the restaurant, I do get hit on all the time. Talk your shit, Felipe. She says, I'm not jealous. I'm territorial. Tori, I love you, boo boo, but that's the same difference. Like, I mean, you're territorial because you're jealous. That's what it is. Let's not put nice words on that. She says, but she trusts her partner will act accordingly out of respect and hopefully he does not see a reason to be deceitful. Then he says, well, I guess the other big thing that makes me nervous I have to talk to you about is that um I know that you've been cheated on before, but I want to let you know that I have cheated before. He says like he made out with someone while he was with his long-term girlfriend. She was like, how did she find out? She was like, honestly, she found out after we broke up and she did not find out from me because even I did not know. I found out like years later about it. And I think he was looking for reassurance because I'm just you're the one who did it. You're the one telling her heavy and she has to absorb it because he was like, whew, this is hard to tell you this because, she hadn't said anything. I think she was still processing, they just had that conversation about faith. She's just finding out that you're atheist, you don't know each other. And, she holds his hand and it's like, it's okay. It's good that you're being honest, but I can see the wheels turning in her head. So she asks him, if it's hard for him to be monogamous at this stage in his life. And he's like, no. He didn't answer like with a period. He answered with a question mark. And the question mark in the no is real loud. And I'm like, Felipe, what are you doing? You signed up for MAFS. So you were saying that you're committed. You should be like, of course it's not hard for me to be monogamous at this stage in my life. But he makes it worse because then he says, I want to say, no, I don't think it's going to be hard for me, but honestly, I don't know. And I'm like, no, wrong answer. Flag on the play. Don't do that. He says he has not been in a committed relationship with anyone until now. So, but he knows he's not going to cheat on her. You are saying two different things. You don't think it's going to be hard for you to be monogamous, but I know for sure I'm not going to cheat on you. So then just say, no, it's not going to be hard. He says he's so all in. He doesn't want to fuck this up. And how lucky did they get? He says he feels so grateful and lucky to be married to her. And then they kiss. I'm not going to lie. I really like this. I like that he's come clean with his two heavy things. I like that it was organic because, she was talking about how she was cheated on and religion was a safe space. And he's like, you know what? This is the right time for me to tell her this. He didn't dump all of it on her on her wedding day. He said it in the honeymoon when they're getting to know each other. And she's, also sharing what her concerns are. And even though he said it with a question mark, he is being honest. He was honest with that. She received the info. They talked things out. Even though she has her fears, it's not like what we've seen in Maps past, where it's like, oh my God, he's cheated before. Now I'm worried he's going to cheat on me. And then you get so hyper fixated on it that it stalls every other thing about the relationship. Now, is this going to happen in the next episode? Maybe. But for now, it looks like it was handled well and they talk things out like adults and then they move on. Okay. Maps and their fake outs. We get it's like a voiceover. We don't see anything except the ocean and the beach. And then we get all these mooning sounds. And I'm thinking it's a massage, but it's just Felipe and Tori eating tacos that apparently are so good. And they keep calling each other baby multiple times. I don't know if it's from Felipe's side. I know he does call her baby a lot. I don't think I've clocked if the baby comes from her. Felipe asks her what her reason for being here on Maps is, and she says because, we're both committed and she just doesn't want to be cheated on again. He does ask her, which I thought was just really nice, like, hey, are you okay talking about it? Like, I know you've talked about the cheating, and how did you find out about it? She goes, oh, I dropped him off at the airport, and when I came back to his house, like, I had the keys to his house, I got a hey girly message, woman to woman, from a 24-year-old. And it turns out that the girl was a side chick. She saw the messages because she sent a couple of things. And she was even more mad that she was young. She was her sister's age and she was being treated that way. She wasn't mad about herself. She was just mad about the girl. She's like, I'm going to be okay. But this girl, she's young and impressionable and he's doing this to her. So she says she took the girl to a dive bar. Then she got a U-Haul, kept the girlfriend credit card. Oh yeah, I didn't mention. She mentioned that it was like a long-term relationship, like a serious committed relationship. So she had like the keys to his house. She had a girlfriend credit card. She kept saying that, and I'm like, what is a girlfriend credit card? Was she working? Was she a kept woman, or was it just, hey, I trust you. Here's my credit card. Get what you need. But I don't know. She said that multiple times. But yes, she got a U-Haul, kept the girlfriend credit card on the table along with his key, and she just left. And that was it. That was a boss move. I really like that she did that. She says, like, people always say, like, once a cheater, always a cheater. And he's like, please don't think that. That it was just a down moment for his life. And he was really deeply ashamed when he found out. And he's not going to do that again. And, the thing is, it's different from when he told the boys. When he was telling the boys, it just felt like he was laughing about it. Like, oh, I didn't even remember. It was 2 years later. I'm not going to do this. But now he's saying, like, it was a down moment. But I hope he's not a person who always wants to showboat when he's around the guys. And I hope he's able to keep the authenticity or keep the side that he's showing to Tori consistent and just be that. Mecca and Jolie. Belle, Jolie, and her dimples are asking Mecca if he still believes that she is the female version of him. He says he feels like, yeah, he's kicking it with his best friend. Guys, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't want them to be stuck in the friend zone. There's too much of kicking it, homie, and all that. Please, let's proceed. She says she does feel the same way that she's kicking it with her best friend, which is what she wanted because she wanted to have a foundation of friendship and then let it progress from there. Then he says like he likes her creative pursuits. She says she loves that he has a sense of style and she wants them to have matching outfits. Little did we know that they're going to be color coordinating throughout this honeymoon. They're at the pool bar now with Mecca being all, this could be all good or it could crash and burn. And Belgelie's there saying like, it could be good. Like, we're getting along so well. She's ready for her vacation. She got her wet and wavy vacation wig going and she's ready for all the water that may come her way. Belgelie says that they haven't had intimate moments, but she doesn't want to initiate too much. But when she starts getting feelings and stuff, she needs to be clear on where they're at. She asks if he thinks like they have a lot of things to work on as far as the marriage and stuff. I'm checking. I'm like, it's just been 3 days, right? Also, where is the ticker? Where is the countdown that tells us blah 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 days till marriage, blah 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 day till decision day? I missed that. I want to see that again. So he says, "Oh no, we're on a good track." And she goes, "You don't plan on leaving me, right?" I'm like, "Oh boy, what's happening?" And he was like, "Why would you think that, my love?" And she says, "If you leave me, I'm going to literally cry." Again, Belge really likes this man, and she's not wanting to say it and be the first to do it, but it kind of feels like she has to do it so they know where they stand. At first, it was him wondering where she stood with him. Now we know, the audience know that she likes him, but I don't know that he knows that. And she needs to, you know, figure that out and let him know she likes him, so that he can proceed and, go from there. So, they cheers to being good, like they're good, they are so good. And I'm hoping and wishing for them that they get out of the friend zone. But I kind of feel like they're in this situation because of Lil Miss No Kiss. Like, if you had just kissed him at the wedding and he didn't have to wonder, where do I stand? Where do I not? They wouldn't be here because now no one knows how to proceed. He's not sure. We already know, like, he second guesses himself. She seems to be shy. She wants him to take the lead, but she's telling us, but I don't know that she's telling him as much as she's telling us or the producers in the confessionals. So it's just a running thing now. Anytime they're alone together, Jolie keeps asking him questions. So her nonstop questions this time, she asks what she thinks would happen when they meet the rest of the couples. She says that she wants them to have a sisterhood and she doesn't want them to have any drama and she hopes everything goes well. They go on a boat together and they are matching in green. And she brings up the fact that the friendship part is outweighing the romance part. He says, yeah, they clicked so quickly, so it was inevitable that this was going to happen. And she says, like, she's trying to remind herself that they are married. And she's just wondering when are they going to make the switch. Make the switch, guys. Make the switch. I just want to wish that for them. She says it's hard to know the boundaries and she loves and wants a man that leads and he needs to just do it. That she doesn't want him to be shy, that he should just go for it and she will follow suit. I'm like, okay, kiss her now. I mean, he does, but it's kind of like a peck. But I'm like, if you wanted all this, why didn't you just kiss this man at the altar? You know? Like days later, now you want to make that switch. But also, why is he not making a move? Has he switched? Is he not attracted to her? Because again, they're another couple. She's saying, like, I'm attracted to him, I'm attracted to him. We're not getting a lot of that from him. Well, now, what do you think? So I'm going from wondering if she's attracted to him to now wondering what he feels about her, you know? Okay, I think that's all the couples. Whew, this season is going to be a doozy because we have 7 couples that we have to go through. So the couples cocktail is coming in. This is the part where they all meet. It is kind of similar to, the Love is Blind, where all the couples gather together and they all meet on the beach. Felipe says the dudes didn't have any faith in him. He's telling Tori. So it's not like he's saying it behind her back, but now he wants to prove to them that she looks good. So he wants to show her off and just show them like, they're doing good. Adam, he's like, I anticipate there's going to be some drama. Guys, who would have thought that in the very first meetup, Adam is going to be in one of the the stronger relationships? So weird. Devin didn't bring up the whole gym thing so he doesn't get in trouble. So he just went along, with it. and didn't say, hey, you should have woken me up. You should have, told me about this. He's just like, I don't want to say anything. And that's not good because he's going to be keeping things in and resentment is going to build and that is going to be a problem. She's trying to get ready and she's mad or frustrated because she's trying to do like a braid on her hair and it's not working. He's trying to be helpful. It's like, do you want to drink? How can I help? But basically, she doesn't want him to be alive. And it's like, she actually says out loud, whatever. And he's like, I'm just going to give her her space and let her be. So they make their way over to the cocktail, the bar where it is that they're meeting. They all start trickling in. Beljulie and Mecca, they start calling each other Becca. They are matching in brown. Nick says he's ready to start judging everyone. I'm like, worry about the problem in your backyard, not about everybody else. Marissa says that she's happy. Felipe is out there peacocking, saying like, oh my God, she's so hot. She looks like Dua Lipa, who's my celebrity crush. Mecca is like, shout out to the experts for doing Felipe right. Adam says like Felipe and Tori are a good match. And Sean also says like it's a good match. He tells them to their face because it's the longest that Felipe has been quiet. If you remember the bachelor party, that's where he was talking a lot and taking over conversations. Caitlin is over there with her black cat yammer. Like, we're not going to hear the end of this black cat thing. And she's just saying how she told him that she's his worst nightmare. And Courtney is over talking to Felipe, asking him about his restaurant. And he's talking about, oh, do you like pasta? And she's like, oh, I like gluten-free pasta. And he's like, what? You don't like regular pasta? And she's like, no, like I have celiac disease. It's not about the fat. I'm like, what a thing to say. You could have just said you have celiac and ended it there. You don't need to keep going. So he says that she is buff and she takes the opportunity to say, yeah, I am. Like, you can ask Nick. I've beat him a few times at the gym. I'm like, don't talk about your husband like that. So she tells us in the confessional that, oh my God, Felipe has a ton of energy. She just wants to talk to him 24/7, that she just does better with Goofy and letting loose. And she just wants that in her marriage to Nick. And I'm like, we're not going to get another Madison and Dave again, right? Because the fuck? What is this? Like, what is happening? Felipe is sweating his ass off, and he says like he likes them individually, them being Nick and Courtney, but he has the least faith in their marriage because he's not convinced that Nick is here just for love. I'm like, oh, interesting. We've been so focused on that, I completely forgot about Nick being here for the right reasons. I've moved past that. I have to accept that this man is on the show. So Beljulie asks everyone about sex and they go around the table. Michelle says they haven't done anything. Tori says they just cuddled. Marissa says skip. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew I wouldn't be surprised if they were the first people to have sex and everyone just cheers for them. So the guys do the same and Adam is like, well, I don't kiss and tell. And they're like, oh. And they do what guys do when they find out they had sex, acting like they've never had sex before. Felipe says, I'm sure you vibed all over her. And honestly, gross. How disrespectful. Like, Felipe just always wants to be the center of attention, that he'll say anything and the first thing that comes to his mind. But respect the fact that this is his wife. Like, he didn't, it's not even like Adam actually said, oh, we had sex. He just said, I don't kiss and tell. And you are inferring that they did have sex. So why would you say, I'm sure you vibed all over her? I don't know. And also, Adam should have checked him right there. I mean, someone was like, Felipe, but that's not enough. You need to chide him and be like, don't do that. Don't talk about my wife like that. So Devin is reassured and is hoping that Caitlyn, hearing everyone's stories, would give her an understanding of what he needs. And I'm like, my guy, you should talk to her. Not hope that all the conversations inspires her. Like, you should talk to her and actually tell her how you feel. I don't know if she's going to receive it, but at least you've told her what it is that you're feeling instead of keeping it in to keep the peace. Felipe, no, Beljulie and Mecca is saying how, they made out and she's feeling the feelings for him. But she does say that the kiss was a 10 out of 10 for her. And it's scary because she doesn't know how he feels about her. Devin talks about Black Cat Caitlyn and how he doesn't want to be overbearing towards her, but he just feels like he's putting in, and she's not giving back. Day 3, day three. Just give it a bit. Like I understand where he's coming from, and Caitlyn is annoying me too, but let's give her some time to see if something changes. Caitlin says that the process is inorganic and she needs a second to adjust to all of this. And he's kind, but she could jump out of her skin. And I'm like, what do you mean? Why did you sign up for this show? Sean and Nikki share, the story and all the things that happen. She tells the ladies, like, I am telling him that he needs to handle me like a flower, but she also wants him to be authentically be himself. Like, maybe this is just how he talks, but he might have to adjust when he's talking to me. She does say that every morning is a new day for him, and he meditates in the morning, and he also has her meditating. He brings her coffee in the morning, and this morning, after thinking about everything that happened, he did come to her and tell her that he wants to be her soft space, and she liked that, and all the girls like that. No, Belle Jolie, actually, I love that. For her, actually do love that for her. So the thing is, whenever the couples meet together, I don't know what is genuine or what is people saying things so that their couples look not as bad, and you know they seem good, and they're hoping for the best in their couples. So I hope she's really appreciating this, and she's really appreciating Sean, and they are progressing in that front. Courtney says like they've done nothing, they're not really kissing, they're not doing all that, that she's just not really into him. And they start cheersing to slow burning, like here's to slow burn. And guys, I just want to throw all their glasses to the floor. We are not cheersing to a slow burn. You have skipped all of the steps. You have come to Married at First Sight. You are not slow burning. We don't have time. You have 8 weeks. So no cheers. Throws all glasses to the floor, shatter it all to the ground. Nick says Marissa and Adam are the front runners when it comes to physical affection, and maybe Nick is not here for the right reasons. Why are we doing a marriage and we're saying front runners? Who's winning? What's the competition? Is it a marriage that's going to be forever? Or is this just, are you winning a medal at the end? Because that's how Nick is looking at it. So he says like that the front runners of physical attention, and he feels good about how they are, that when it comes to physical affection with him and Caitlyn, they're in the middle of the pack. So again, either Nick is delusional, or he has no idea what's going on. So Courtney and Caitlyn are commiserating about the fact that they are not able to, they don't like one-on-one time, or they feel suffocated by their partners. Courtney is saying that she had quarantine vibes, and if they had to have any more alone time, she might shoot herself in the head. And then she points to her head and does the shooting thing and then laughs. I'm like, this fucking January 6th denier is so weird. Like, I've had about enough of her, you know? And so while she's whining and trying to confide in Caitlyn, Nick is trying to be attentive and like, oh, I'm gonna go check on my wife. And then he goes to sit beside her, and she makes a face. And that's how episode 4 ends. And I'm like, oh my god, London Bridge is burning. All the couples are on fire. And I don't know what's happening. Felipe and Tori are doing okay, but I'm so cautious that I feel like something may come up later, and it's too good to be true, I guess. And the same for Adam and Marissa. It's just for our strong couples to be the two guys that really were waving the red flag in the first episode. I don't know what to do with this. Oh my god, MAFS. You're doing what you do best. But yeah, that was the episode. We'll see what happens with episode 5 and episode 6, the rest of the episodes that were on the drop. But before I go, I want to share my bouquet and my ashes. My bouquet goes to Felipe and Tori, mostly Tori, 90%, because I honestly just thought it was a boss move that she found out about this, and she was concerned about the other girl and how young she was, and thinking about her sister, and actually taking her out and just letting her, giving her advice and letting her know like, don't let them do this to you. And also just how she received all the information, how she was being very mature. And I am reluctantly giving it to Felipe. I really did not want to give it Felipe because of his comment when he says, I'm sure you vibed all over her, but I want to commend him for being honest and actually coming out, you know, with his cheating and saying it out, and actually asking about, her faith. Like, even though they don't align on it, it's just, it's something we have to deal with. Like, we are here and wanting to talk about it. So I think they did well as a couple together. My ashes go to the combination of Caitlyn and Courtney. I just don't understand where it's still very early, as the kids on Love Island say, early days. You are not even giving a chance. Caitlyn just really being like, Devin is doing something so terrible to her when he's just being kind and it's a you problem. And just being like, oh, I'm not into my emotions. Oh, I just want to be by myself. Oh, leave me alone. Being all whatever when he's trying to help. And telling him that you chew too much and you pulverize your food. That's so rude. So I didn't appreciate that. And Courtney just being Courtney. Like, she's forever on my shit list, but just everything that she's doing too much. And that little comment about Felipe, I hope it really just was that. And it's not going to be more. Because side eye, I'm watching you. So, yeah, that's it for the episode. Once again, reminding you that my next episode, I am going to be solo, but I promise the guests are going to be back on episode 6. You know, just a lot of work have to get done. And once, my work is done, I will be back and give you guys my full attention with guests. So, hope you enjoyed the episode. Please give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You can get in contact with me, Tane Talks, anywhere on any social media of your choice. It is Tane Talks all around. And stay subscribed so you don't miss out on any new episode. Until the next episode, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.